I'm Jeanette Keynes from Jewelry Arts Inc. Today I'm going to show you how to make one of these gorgeous wax boxes. This one isn't mine, it's my friend Alexis's. But we use these for putting together, like especially if you have an arrangement in a piece of jewelry with like a lot of bezels and a lot of stones, and you really have to keep track of like what goes with what. We use these little wax boxes. You stick the stuff right to the bottom and it holds it in place, and then you can transport it, or in a case just like this, you can just open your box up and be inspired. So I'm going to show you how to make one for your own. Now, we went and bought a whole bunch of these tins online, but you could always just reuse one of these little Altoids tins, because that's really, if you look at this, that's exactly what this is, a little mint tin. So these are great because they're hard, like you don't want anything that can crush or that can accidentally like really come open, and I've never seen one of these come open, so they work really well. Now, for the wax in the bottom, we use a microcrystalline wax. You could always just use what you happen to have at home, like beeswax or something like that. But the microcrystalline is great because it's like just sticky enough. It'll hold things firmly, but it doesn't get like so gooey and like just get all over the place and get really messy. And also, after you've used a box and like, let's say you've done a project and put a bunch of things in and out and in and out and in and out, when you're all done, you can always just reheat the wax, and then like you have a fresh canvas to start with all over again. So again, the microcrystalline wax is the best, but if all you have is like beeswax or something like that at home, just use that. It'll still be a helpful thing. So I have a big block of microcrystalline wax right here. So I just took my little, what is this, a corkscrew, and kind of scraped some of this off. You can use a knife, whatever. Because here's the thing, you actually don't want an enormous amount of wax in here. You don't need a thick coat. You literally just need a thin coat at the very bottom. So as you can see, I'll show you a little close up, but I just took little shavings. I'm gonna put it in the bottom, and I'm gonna heat this up with a torch. If, let's say, you don't have a torch at home, you could just take this and sit it on top of the stove just a little bit till it melts. Doesn't take a lot of heat. Probably even just do it like with a lighter or one of those little butane torches. It doesn't really take that much. So I'll show you. So this is the microcrystalline wax. You can order it and buy it in a big block like this. Like I said, we use a lot of these in the studio because I have so many little like bits and pieces of things and stones that need to get together with certain bezels or whatever, that like I just use a ton of these. But you may not need to get a giant block like this. So you see, I just took some little shavings of wax and put them in here. Like I was saying before, you actually don't want or need a particularly thick coat of wax, just something thin. So I just sort of guesstimated and put these little shavings in here, and we'll melt it, and I guess we'll see how thick it is. So I just sit this on top of a tripod so that I can heat from underneath a little bit. And I have my torch on like not super high, like not like a hard hissy flame, because I'm gonna kind of like heat it a little bit. And you see how it starts to melt? You see how like I heat it a little bit, I pull the heat away, because whenever you're heating stuff like wax, you don't want to like get it so hot that it smokes or eventually catches fire. That would also not be good. Now I don't have to do this from underneath, but I feel like it's better to kind of just heat the metal a little bit. When I've got this all liquid, I'm just gonna grab it with my tweezers and place it flat on the table so that it can cool, in a quasi-even coat, one hopes. As long as it's covering the whole bottom, that's really all that I care about. Okay. So now I'm gonna take it and just put it flat on the table. I'm just shaking the wax around a little bit to make sure it covers the whole thing. And then I'm just gonna let it cool. And you'll see in a couple minutes, it'll turn opaque again. So these things are really simple to make. And basically you just heat them and reuse them again and again. I mean, as time goes by, maybe the wax gets a little dusty, but you know, there are worse things. So these are just so useful because we do so much stuff in the studio that needs to like stay together. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I always have like 35 projects going at once. So these are like lifesavers. And you see how you can see it cooling and becoming solid, basically right in front of your eyes. So you see a beautiful thin little coat of wax, and that's all it takes. Couldn't be easier. So just to show you a little close-up, there it is, little thin coat of wax in the bottom. And then you can arrange your stones in there, and when you make bezels, you can keep the bezels with it, or just, you know, whatever you're gonna keep track of. And my friend Alexis, of course, makes these gorgeous ones because when she wants to be inspired by her opals or whatever it is she wants to be inspired by, she can just open it up and there they are, winking at her, just ready to be worked on. So that's it. It's really quick and easy to make and almost indispensable, I think. I know looking at these would inspire me, that's for damn sure.